How would you like to improve the efficiency of your distributed teams on your Agile project? Hi, my name is Tim McDermott. I'm a senior IT project manager, especially software development project manager, Agile Scrum Master, etc., working and living in the beautiful city of Tampa Bay. Today I'm out at a park they called Taylor Park, and right behind me is Taylor Lake. And there are supposedly alligators in there. So hopefully I will survive this duration of the video. In large projects, in agile projects also, you can have situations where you have distributed teams. You might have one Scrum team here in the U.S., another Scrum team in in India, another one in Korea, etc., etc. And you have to keep all of these teams running in sync and in working towards the same goal, maybe even sharing the same product backlog, etc. How do you do that? Well, that's what we're going to go into today. We're going to teach you some things to help keep your teams working together and becoming a group of high performance teams, etc. One thing you want to make sure is that these distributed teams is to make sure they all have the same vision. You've got to bring them together and come up with the common vision and make sure that every member of every team understands what that vision is and buys into it, etc. So that's a good place to start. They're Scrum teams, so another good place to start is, are they using the same definition and the same understanding of what Scrum is? Are they following the same practices in the same way? Oftentimes, especially when you go into different parts of the world, they have a different idea and a different meaning about Scrum. They have to work together to stay in sync, so they have to have a shared understanding of what Scrum is and how to practice it. So start there. That's a good approach. Next thing is you hear about team charters. Well, team charters are good for teams. Team charters where the team comes together and agrees on how they're going to behave and how they're going to perform, how they're going to run their meetings, etc. The same thing is needed in a team of teams, a situation. These individual teams form a higher level team. Thus, they need their own team agreement, and it should include things, since we're in different locations, office hours should be set up and agreed upon. They don't have to be working the same office hours, but hopefully they can find a way to work in some overlapping office hours, and that can be in the team agreement. Now, since they're distributed teams, email. They're going to be using email. They need to have some rules, and particularly response times. You need to have an agreement that says that an email will get a response, some kind of response, even if it's only just an acknowledgement that I've read the email and we're working on it, that type of acknowledgement. They need to have their response time of maybe a day, etc. So they need to work on that. Now, the next thing, they do at times need to co-locate, to meet together. A good time to meet together as a large group of teams together in the same room is when the project is just starting up. They should probably spend perhaps the first sprint together, working together in the same room before they return home. And then after that, it is good to, when they're back at home, time to time, have them kind of cross-pollinate. Some of them, some people in India may come and work in the U.S. for the week just to get to know the people in the U.S. and even though they're all spread all over the world, they do need to bond, and they need to spend time together to develop a bond, develop relationships, etc., friendships. Relationships make the world go round, so they need to have those relationships. So I call that pollination. And the initial get-together that I just talked about, call that seeding the teams. Um, Now, another thing is, since they're working in different parts of the world, then documentation. I know Scrum is kind of more in favor of face-to-face meetings and face-to-face conversations, but when you're dealing with people in different time zones, documentation can help a lot, especially if you're handoff documentation. If there's a team of developers in India and the BAs are all in the U.S., and the BAs would need to have good requirements written down so that the we're getting an interruption here. Could read the documentation and get questions answered that way. All right, and instant messaging, of course, is going to become a lot more important. Make sure you have high quality information. Instant messaging tools. Meetings are going to have to be a special consideration when you do that. When you have teams all over the world, and that's it. Thank you. There's a lot more that can be said about distributed teams. There's a lot of good videos and books, etc. Search the internet for them. Thank you all, and I did not get attacked by an alligator. If you like the video, put comments and share the video. Thanks.